The Call 7 investigators demanding some answers from the head of Denver's Department of Human Services after a child is placed with a sex offender and then later with a convicted child abuser. Call 7 investigator John Ferrugia broke the story Wednesday night. And John, the manager of the department, claims there are no problems with their system to protect kids.
That's right, Mitch. Penny May would not discuss how her department made such egregious errors or why she has suspended the caseworkers and supervisors involved. But her interview made clear that she has little knowledge of how her own department and processes and procedures work. John Ferrugia.
Penny May.
Nice to meet you.
Nice.
It began with a simple question. Who's responsible for conducting background checks on those foster parents or family members taking kids for DHS placement?
The caseworkers working on the call and the case are responsible.
That would be the intake caseworker.
That's my assumption. I don't know that for sure, but I can certainly get that information. I am not involved in the process.
Who's responsible for making sure that background check is completed?
Supervisors review the files.
This is important because our investigation found that caseworkers and supervisors took 4 children from their mother and placed them with a father who had a sex assault conviction. And we found the caseworker interviewed the father prior to placement.
He was like, I see here that you've had to register as a sex offender on this crime. And I told him, yeah.
Even so, the kids were left in the home, violating safety procedures. And months later, when they were removed, they were then placed with a grandmother who had a conviction for child abuse and neglect. Apparently, there was no background check, again, violating safety procedures. Who's responsible for distribution of that information to the parties that need to know about this background check? I
don't have that information. I can follow up with you.
You don't know the process?
I don't have that. No, I don't have all of that information.
You're the boss.
I'm not a caseworker.
Have you ever been a caseworker?
No, I have not.
You ever worked in family services?
No, I have not.
Do you have any background in family services?
I have been at the agency for 3 years. I am not a human service professional.
Right. So you took over this job. You had no background in this particular business. Okay.
That's correct.
But given the placement of kids that violated department safety procedures, putting kids at risk, is she going to address the obvious flaw in the process to protect kids?
I am saying that the process is in place and it is working. It has been in place and it continues to be in place, and it is in place today. It is working.
If it's working, then how can a child be placed with a sex offender and a child abuser?
We're not talking about specifics.
I'm not talking about a specific case. That is a specific case.
I'm talking about your processes.
You're talking about a specific case.
I'm talking about reality.
I am not speaking to a specific case, which is what you're asking me.
What I'm saying to you is that I and the people who are watching this know that process isn't working because we've got evidence it's not. And you're
speaking to a particular case, and I will not address the case.
We gave Penny May a day to prepare for this interview, telling May we wanted to speak about the specific process for background checks. She also had time to strategize on how she would use that same talking point to avoid answering critical questions involving child safety. Penny May also denied there is any audit underway to find out if there have been similar safety lapses in other cases. And one important final note here, the case of the father's sex assault, be clear, did not involve children. Aaron, who was then 19, pled guilty to being involved with 14 and 15-year-old girls who then later admitted they lied about their ages. In the newsroom, I'm John Ferrugia, 7 News.